Alright, let's see if this thing will go together without killing myself. We'll see. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is check all our passages real quick again, just to make sure there's nothing clogged up anywhere. Before the drill bit went in pretty hard, so hopefully this time it goes easier. Slips right in like it's supposed to. Goes right on down there like it's supposed to. Okay, good deal. Blowing it one more time just to make sure there's no grit. Made a big mess over here. Okay, everything seems to be clear and open. Now we can go assembly time. This is a cat and mouse game of assembly. It's all about getting the throttle shaft to work freely. That's the whole ball game. Okay, before I get too involved, let's make sure this fits in the hole. Goes in tight. Good thing I checked that, huh? Now, I never remember which way these things go. The hole goes right there. It can't be in the butterfly. So this goes the other direction like this. Looks like they made these a little bit bigger than stock. There it goes. Nice fit. Got to line the hole up in the to go through. It's got just enough drag it stays put, but not so much it doesn't work. And it falls out. Where's my spray nozzle? Right here. Old spray nozzle goes away. New one we're keeping. It goes until it's not. And it's tight. So that's not good. Alright. So you can put a little bit downward pressure with a punch. I'm going to wiggle this around a little bit until it just goes through. So the spray nozzle is a little tight, the tray's a little tight, so everything's staying put. And it looks like it's in there good. Oop. Nice big hole, good for flow. Alright, that stuff's not falling out, so I'd take it out. If this is flopping in and out, you go ahead and put the spring in here, which is right here. Of course, it's wadded up on this other one right here. Like that, and if you put the nut on there, that nut right there, it'd be in there and it couldn't move, wouldn't fall out. So that's an assembly tool. Okay, we'll leave it in there for now, doesn't matter. Okay, so we're putting a new throttle disc in there, which is our X6 disc. So that part goes up, and the part that has the cutaway and it goes next to the transfer slot, which is over here on this side. That's his slot back in here. So you gotta make sure it goes in that direction. So it goes right in like this. Maybe. It goes in there tight too. Great. Everything super tight, which means it's going to buckle everything when it goes in. Now make sure you put the screws where you can get to them and not put them on the back side like that, like I've seen people do. This thing goes in really tight. Oh geez, that thing's tight. Aftermarket parts are not happy with each other. See, it's only going to go in there about that far. If you beat on it, you're going to probably bend the shaft, so it's best not to beat on it. Plus it'll nick the taper up in here. This is actually cut of the taper. Damn, that thing's tight. Ugh. Almost in there. Definitely very, very tight. It's best to use a plastic hammer when you beat on things. So we have to get the shaft to go in deeper right now. The camera's on a spot where I can't see very well. So now the holes line up a little better. Problem is the solder in there is soft and we have to beat this damn thing straight, which is not a good combination. And this is not straight up and down, so I know it's at an angle like this. That moved. So this side here is a tight side. Take a pair of flat bills, leverage against the body and pull it up a little bit. Get it so it's straight. Get it closed almost all the way that time. Put a couple marks right there I don't like though, but oh well. Kind of push it in there. Feel that was a little snug. Tap this in down here. I'll use the real tapping tool this time. So I tapped in flat as I'm pushing straight down on this. Still works freely, that's a good sign. It locks solid. So if you don't see no air through there, that's a good sign. No light. Look up for light. If you don't see light, it's good. There. See light now, right? There we go. So, looks like it's pretty tight. Pretty good fit. Good sign. Let me look at it now. Yeah, that's nice round parts. You never see one seal up 100% like that. At least parts are cut good and round. They fit nicely. Plus I fixed all the low spots in the body. That helped too. Okay, so once that's flat like that, now you go ahead and put the screws in there. Now you can either use the new screws or you can use the old screws. So the difference in height is the same. The difference in the thickness of the head is a little... Alright, get this up so you can see it. It's a little bit higher. So theoretically the new one has more air blockage than the old one. They're the same height overall, so you had the same amount of thread sticking through either way. So if you want maximum airflow, go with the straight slot early screw. It's a round head screw. This one's more of a Phillister head, which is thicker. Old ones are better. Besides the original, they got to be better, right? Purple Loctite. Purple is for under 1/4 inch hardware. This is under 1/4 inch. See, it's purple in color. There it goes. Thread didn't want to start. Always push the throttle disc down as you're tightening everything. Make sure the screws fit inside the countersink or counterboard area. It's a flat spot of the disc. Damn it, the camera's so low I can't see. There we go. So you want to make sure the screw's bottoming out on the bottom of the shaft, not up on the sides of it. Okay, so once you hold it straight, then you go ahead and tighten the damn thing down. Good and tight. Now if you're lucky, it still rotates. Look at that. Nice and free. Jeez, can't remember the last time I had one that nice. Nice and free everywhere, you can hear it. Yeah, that looks really, really nice. That's super nice. No drag at all. Yeah, hard to believe. I'm happy. I'm good. Like I said, I'm never that good. Never. Okay, so then we have a throttle lever somewhere. Could be this thing. You have a tapered screw or a spring right there. That goes out on top of the shaft there. That keeps the shaft from bouncing up and down when you open it. Like this. It doesn't go up and down like that. It keeps steady pressure on it. And you got this goes on. So you just compress out your finger and then tighten it. It helps to have the throttle wide open when you set this. There's a screw I'm going to tighten out. This screw over here. Okay, now before you get full tight, see it goes fully closed. This is your idle stop screw here. And then fully opens over here. Now you want to make sure it's fully up and straight up and down. Not like it was before. It helps to take a straight edge and put it in here like this. And then look at it. It should be vertical, 90 degrees to the surface. So I gotta hold it where I can see it, not you. Looks like it's leaning just a little bit inward. It's a little bit more this way than it should be. Whoop, gotta get where you can see kind of a little bit. Looks like it's that way a little bit to me. So if you close the throttle and just barely move the lever over here. You look at it again. And that time it looks pretty close to dead straight to me. So it looks nice and straight. Then you go ahead and tighten it up. Now you got to hold this against your, here while you do this, so you tighten it. And if you screw up, it pokes a hole in your finger, so tighten that down pretty good. Gotta put some drag on it because now we get the spring is in there. Come back and double check it, make sure nothing moved on you. Looks pretty damn good. Alright. Now you go and set your idle speed, which is right here. I don't know why it's got a Phillips on it, but that is not stock. See how the spring is bottoming out? And I'm not even got the throttle open yet. That means the spring is too long. Okay, I just bottomed the spring completely out. Close the carburetor and you see how the throttle is barely open? Yet the spring is bottomed out. You can't go any more than that. So either you need a little bit longer screw or you need a shorter spring. I'm not a big fan of Phillips screws. I'm not sure how much air it's going to need, but I think it's going to need more than that. I think it's going to be about here for idle. See how the transfer slot's just opening there? But the screw won't go that far. The screw needs to be about another 30 thou longer at least, maybe 50 thou longer. So this screw sucks. Oh, they got this stupid screw on. So the spring's too long or the screw's too short, take your pick. I'm going to go the screw's too short. Otherwise I got to cut the spring shorter. Okay, so what do we got here for screw length? We have it's a short screw. It's not quite 3/4 of an inch. If it was a full 3/4 of an inch long, it would work. It is not. So it's a little on the short side. We have a short screw here. It must be metric. Alright, so we pull out Dad's parts. Gotta clean the workbench off over here. Somebody working on a race bike or something over here. I don't know how they got that impression from. Okay, so now there's a bunch of screws. Screws there, but those are too big. Those are too short. Those are too big. Those are not it. There we go. There's some longer screws. Hopefully one of these is what we need. If not, we're going to cut the spring. Appears to be the same thread, and see how my screw's a little longer? It's a straight slot too, like it's supposed to be. Old bikes have straight slots. No more stupid Phillips. Straight slot, you know where the hell you're at when you turn it. You can tell better. Okay, now we're going to completely bottom out this spring. Okay, now it's bottomed out all the way. Now when you close the throttle, you can see how it's open. See how the transfer slot right there is opened up quite a bit. So So that's a really fast idle right there. So we know we got enough adjustment now. Back it off a little bit. I always like to adjust them for a little bit fast of an idle when you first crank them. I think it's a good spot right there. Maybe a little bit more right there. Alright, I think that's a good amount right there. I like seeing a good portion of the transfer slot when I first cracked that sucker. So now, you can see in there's a little bit of an air gap in there now. Yeah. Okay, so that should be a fast idle, but not a super fast idle. It's not like we got the thing half open. Probably could go a little bit more than that. I think we're almost bottoming out the screw at this point. Yep. Okay, we're going to leave it there. Okay, so everything still works nice and free like it's supposed to, which is good. Alright, put the stuff away, we'll be back.